I'm glad to serve as the inspiration for Moody's. Whatever they need some advice, I'm here for them. And later in the day on Friday, not that I should be smiling about this because this is definitely bad news for Americans writ large. It's not a joking matter, but they downgraded the outlook, not the bond rating, but they downgraded the outlook for America's borrowing prospects from stable to negative. So as you remember Friday's live stream, there was a long discussion about our ability to borrow and how much that might cost in the future. And from a real estate perspective, and I think most of you that are watching this are in the real estate business or somehow related to that, the yield on the 10-year directly relates to the 30-year fixed mortgage rate. So those things this is all connected, really easy to connect the dots here. So on Friday afternoon, clearly after watching the live stream, Moody's cuts U.S. outlook to negative, citing deficits and political polarization. This is definitely the top story in real estate and in finance. Moody's investors changed the outlook from negative to stable. The rating agency affirmed its long-term issuer at AAA, but effectively what they're saying here is if you don't change things around, we will downgrade you from AAA. Fitch already did that, I think, in August, and then the other third major credit rating did it in 2011. So it's only Moody's that still has the U.S. at AAA. So what they said here was in the context of higher interest rates, without effective fiscal policy measures to reduce government spending or increase revenues, Moody's expects the U.S. fiscal deficits to remain very large, significantly weakening debt affordability. And again, for those of us in real estate, that means the yield on the 10-year is going to go up. And again, from the 10-year, the 30-year mortgage rate is going to go up. So, yeah, this is a huge factor for us in the real estate industry. Continued polarization within the U.S. Congress raises the risk that successive governments will not be able to reach a consensus on the fiscal plan to slow the decline in debt affordability. In other words, we're about to enter a fiscal death spiral, effectively, is what they're saying. I don't want to start off on a sour note, and we will talk about Whoopi Goldberg in this episode and copycat lawsuits in this episode and another business model that I just came up with this morning about how real estate could be practiced in the future, all in this episode. But, this is not good news. Let's take a look at where the 10-year is this morning. It's back up at 4.64. And, I think we'll go back to 5. I think we're going to go back to 5-year interest rates. I just think, 5 point on the Treasury and 8 on the interest rates. So let's just take a quick look at what the plan is, because this Friday we are once again expecting the government shutdown thing, right? So this will be a test for the new speaker that we have. What's his name? Mike Johnson from Louisiana. Let's check in with today, NBC, to figure out what the plan is.
Part. Unveiled Saturday, the speaker's proposal does not include any budget cuts. That's welcome news to Democrats.
No budget cuts. So that's what Moody's is saying. Like, you've got to rein in your spending.
But it also means Congress would face more deadlines for possible government shutdowns in the future. In Johnson's plan, some government agencies would be funded until January 19th and others until February 2nd. The approach is something hardline conservatives hope would force the Senate to pass individual bills instead of those massive spending proposals.
All right, so that's at least a step in the right direction if we go for individual bills. So what Congress usually does is pass an omnibus spending bill, which basically they wrap all the pork up into one bill, and therefore you just got to vote on it. It's like a freight train. Fortunately, now it looks like they're going to go single topic by single topic. Therefore, you can vote on the measures of that particular spending or not. I love that approach. It's a much better, it's a common sense. I like that approach. That way you don't have, as I think Congressman Gates the other day said, where you're not voting for a war at the same time you're voting for agricultural subsidies, right? So I think that's a step in the right direction.